The digital age has gifted us with unprecedented connectivity, fostering global conversations and amplifying social movements. Yet, this very interconnectedness has also birthed a curious phenomenon: virtue signaling. It's the act of publicly expressing opinions or taking actions solely to demonstrate one's moral righteousness, often overshadowing genuine intent and substantive action. While seemingly innocuous, virtue signaling can be detrimental, creating echo chambers of self congratulatory righteousness and hindering productive dialogue. Navigating the landscape of virtue signaling requires a nuanced approach, one that balances skepticism with empathy, as well as seeks genuine engagement over performative displays. Virtue signaling thrives in the fertile ground of social media. A single click, a shared post, a carefully crafted comment, these actions can become potent tools for broadcasting one's moral superiority. The focus shifts from enacting meaningful change to projecting an image of unimpeachable virtue. This performative aspect is crucial to understanding virtue signaling. It's not about quietly donating to a cause, it's about broadcasting that donation to the world, complete with hashtags and pronouncements of one's unwavering commitment. The emphasis is less on the impact of the action and more on the public perception of the actor. Consider, for instance, the online outrage that erupts over a minor misstep by a public figure. Within minutes, social media is flooded with condemnation posts, each vying for the moral high ground. While holding individuals accountable is essential, the ensuing pile-on often descends into a frenzy of virtue signaling. The focus becomes less about addressing the issue at hand and more about publicly distancing oneself from the perceived transgressor, thereby reaffirming one's own moral purity. This creates a climate of fear and self-censorship, stifling nuanced conversations and preventing genuine growth. A personal anecdote illustrates this point. A friend deeply passionate about environmental issues once organized a community cleanup drive. The event was well intentioned and several volunteers participated. However, the day after the event, her social media feed was inundated with posts detailing her involvement, complete with before and after photos and pronouncements about the importance of environmental stewardship. While her actions were commendable, the overt emphasis on self-promotion felt disingenuous. It overshadowed the collective effort of the volunteers and shifted the focus to her personal image. This isn't to say that sharing positive initiatives is inherently wrong. The distinction lies in the motivation. When the primary driver is self-aggrandizement rather than inspiring others or raising awareness, it crosses the line into virtue signaling. The problem with virtue signaling extends beyond mere performativity. It can create echo chambers where dissenting opinions are not only dismissed but actively vilified. In these echo chambers, moral righteousness becomes a badge of honor, and any deviation from the prevailing orthodoxy is met with swift and merciless condemnation. This stifles intellectual curiosity and prevents us from engaging with complex issues in a meaningful way. True progress requires open dialogue, a willingness to consider different perspectives, as well as the humility to acknowledge our own limitations. Virtue signaling, on the other hand, fosters a climate of moral absolutism where nuance and complexity are sacrificed at the altar of self-righteousness. So how do we deal with people who engage in virtue signaling? The key is to approach the situation with empathy and understanding, while also maintaining a healthy dose of skepticism. Directly confronting someone about their virtue signaling can often be counterproductive, leading to defensiveness and entrenchment. A more effective approach is to gently challenge their perspectives, encouraging them to consider alternative viewpoints and engage in more nuanced discussions. Instead of attacking their character, focus on the substance of their arguments. Ask probing questions, explore the complexities of the issue, and encourage them to move beyond simplistic pronouncements. This is going to be extremely important. For instance, if someone is publicly shaming a company for a minor ethical lapse, you could gently inquire about their own consumption habits and whether they are supporting companies that align with their values. This isn't about catching them in hypocrisy. Rather, it's about prompting them to reflect on their own actions and consider the complexities of ethical decision making. Ultimately, the best antidote to virtue signaling is authenticity. Focus on the genuine acts of kindness, quiet acts of service, and meaningful engagement with the issues you care about. Instead of seeking public validation for your moral righteousness, strive to live a life that reflects your values. True virtue speaks for itself. It doesn't need a megaphone. By prioritizing genuine action over performative displays, we can create a more compassionate and productive society. One where moral righteousness is not a badge to be worn, but a principle to be lived. Thank you very much for your time.